Welcome to 3 Live Stream. I'm P.A.K. Most of y'all know that. With me, I got the wild card right here. So tell them something.
You know what they say. It's better to be late than never to have arrived at all. But that's okay. Because me and P.A.K, we had to take a detour up to Texas Arcana. And we had to pick up the Southwest Pro Wrestling Champion, the man himself, Big Stan. Pick up the Southwest Pro. Tell him, Big Stan.
Well, it goes like this. When you're the first ever Texarkana wrestling champion, things start to pick up all around you. Just like the fact that it's me. It's P.A.K Daddy. It's the wild card coming at you live tonight on a Monday night, baby. A big, bad Monday night special edition of the 3 Live Stream. And you can best believe that we're going to be equivalent to the Hellraiser Deluxe himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin, with this special episode of the Stone Cold Steve Austin biography recap. Take it away, P.A.K Daddy.
With that being said, roll the fucking tape.
Oh. Yeah.
Whoa! Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. That intro was nice.
Gotta say, Big Stan, gold's your color, my man.
Right on. I can dig it. I appreciate that wild card.
Yeah,
wild card Capone in the house, baby.
Woo!
All right, so I don't know if all you in the chat. We're gonna go through the chat here. We got Pop the Trunk Toys, Marcos, M3 Reviews,
the one and only
ACDC, and we got Casual Toy Collector Zachiel. Man, you know Zachiel. I struggle on the last name. Easy-Oy, maybe.
What it do? Z-Easy.
Yeah. I think that does it for the chat, man. How y'all doing in here tonight? We're going to talk about the A&E Biography. They just started this show last night, and they're going to spend 8 weeks every Sunday at 8 Central Standard Time talking about a new legend. And last night was my man. Everybody who knows me knows my man is Stone Cold Steve Austin. For me, my personal interest, he's the best wrestler. That's just my taste and what I prefer. But
that's a good pick to go with.
Say what?
That's a good pick to go with.
Oh, dude. I mean, your first impressions when you watched this, what did you think? Wild card.
Man, I got to tell you, honestly, it was presented really good, but they didn't really, if you're an Austin fan or a wrestling fan in general, you kind of know everything that they went over. But it was good. It's presented really well. It was really well. I'd say like the last 5 to 10 minutes is really the new stuff, what he's been doing with his life and everything after wrestling. That's what I was most interested in.
Yeah. What they didn't go into something I really wish they would have, like where his music originated, because there's a section of the show where they talk about when the glass breaks. I mean, and they're right. It would send chills. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Because when that happened, you know some ass kicking was about ready to fucking happen. Right then and there.
As they would say, when you hear the glass, you know that's your ass.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, he talks about how the price of fame, you know, there's a price for it. When when you're locked in on something that tight, you don't see a lot of shit going on around you. Like anybody that's been successful with anything knows that, like, you put your heart and soul into it, like you kind of suffer a little bit, everything else around you. So that part of the biography I could really relate to. Like, I think it was in 2003 when he left because they carded him with Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all the shit happening vividly. And he was just at a point where he'd been going so damn hard, and it was just like something that, just sent him there. Because I remember, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I agree with his his standpoint on that. You're not gonna do a build up. It's just a throwaway match on Raw. I mean, we think Brock Lesnar nowadays, and we think one of the biggest athletes, name wise. But you think like they're trying to build him up back then in 2003. They were trying to build up Brock Lesnar, and you think, man, like, you got this guy you're trying to build up, and if he can take out Austin, the biggest guy that's been in your company for the last 5 years at that point, that would boost him instantly. But you wouldn't want to throw that away because you'd make Austin look really bad, really, really weak, and you wouldn't want that either. So I definitely agree with him on walking out 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime you have a character that you have invested a lot into, as far as building that character's mystique and their reputation, you never want to kill them off instantly unless that character is actually about to be gone for good.
Yeah.
If they're never coming back, yeah. But if there's any chance of that character returning, you never want to do anything to diminish all the work that was put into making that character what he was, in the fans' eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. They could have, and they've been on the record of saying they didn't have anything planned for Steve Austin at this point either. So this was just going to be a one and done. This wasn't going to be he comes back at Brock, gets revenge, costs them a title, and they go into like this giant feud. Or there wasn't going to be anything like that.
Right.
This is just going to be a one and done type of thing. So, and if you've got any of the other Austin documentaries, like the earlier ones, they go into better detail about the Brock Austin walkout situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, at that time I was still pretty young, and didn't, of course, didn't have all the behind the scenes knowledge and, intellect about the business as I do now, but at that time, me being just of wrestling and of Stone Cold, I was very disappointed. And what I hate was, how WWE didn't really consider what he might have been going through that led to his decision, and they just immediately trashed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's something that still goes on in wrestling today.
I think a lot of that happens where in a lot of situations where real good motherfuckers get bled dry. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're good at something, people around you will bleed you dry, your bosses, till they can't get no more out of you. And the dude was so good. The angles were fucking amazing. They set standards that had never been fucking done. Okay, let's transition to this. Fighting the fucking boss, laying your hands on him. Dude, that shit was transcendent. That shit never been happened. When I was a kid, I loved smart ass people. I loved to be a smart ass myself. And watching this shit's like, this is perfect, man. This is exactly what the fuck I want.
No doubt.
Like, dude, everybody wants to whoop their boss's ass. And what else is transcendent? How many people? How many people can whoop a heel's ass and then turn around and whip a baby face's ass, and it doesn't matter? People love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was something we had never seen before. He was his own guy, dude. It was like he had no allegiance. He was like, that's what the deal was,
And I think what really hurt on that walkout, is it's understated. People say that he was the everyman wrestler. He represented everybody. Like, who wouldn't want to kick the crap out of their boss, right?
Yeah.
But if you've watched him, if you watched him all the way, WrestleMania 13 with Bret Hart, and you watched all the story of that unfold with Survivor Series, before that, the year before that, and you watch all of this unfold, and then you see the blood crimson mask that he was at Mania 13, and then the switch, that's where he goes good guy. Bret Hart becomes bad guy. The full turn for both of them, that double turn happened. And if you're there for that, and you were watching this entire time, and then he walks out, Vince McMahon went out there the night after, and he said he walked out on us, the WWE, and he walked out on you, the fans. And at that time, when I was, when he walked out, I was like 17. And I felt like, I was like, dude, he walked out on me, because I've been cheering him since, I was like 12, 13, And that's how I felt. And like Vince McMahon, I felt like he was right. He walked out on me, because I supported him. I cheered him every time. He beat the crap out of anybody. It didn't matter,
Yeah, I was older than you during that time, and I'd already known that there's been shoots in works.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, I didn't know if this was a shoot or a work. I thought maybe this was a work. It was an angle, and back then you didn't really know. Like, you could go on the internet a little bit, but I remember watching, being like, I don't know what the difference is with this. You know what I'm saying? So is this an angle to where he's hurt, he's at home, or are they telling me the fucking truth? Because I know my guy wouldn't let me down. That was the beginning of the end for me. And that's why I wanted to get on and do some shows with the man Big Stan, because he's still wrestling. He's still watching. This man right here. And I feel like maybe he can let me see something that I don't see no more. Because I'm going to be honest with you, that dude was my guy. When he took that 6-month sabbatical, wherever it is, and he said, fuck you, I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then he came back, it wasn't the same. And he even describes in that biography why it wasn't the same. Because his nerves were shot from taking that literally taking the pile driver straight up. You know what I mean? And that was the beginning for me. I just never recovered. It's very similar. I'm a hardcore Chicago Bulls fan. I have been since 1989, 88 or 89, when I was a kid, when they were battling the Pistons. When the fucking Bulls let that team disband, I didn't watch fucking basketball for 10 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm kind of at now. I'm like, my guy was gone. I spent a lot of time. What's up, Dreadpool 26? If we don't see you down there, I apologize. We're getting it chopped up tonight, fellas.
Dreadpool, what it do, baby?
Oh. Like, I'm not lying to you. I have everybody that's got tattoos knows they got a round of things they're going to do. They know the ones they're going to have usually. My tattoo's always going to be, I was going to have DTA in my arm. I'm still going to have it done. I used to live by that a lot. But now that I'm a little bit older and I let people in a little bit more, because like he said, that did hurt him a lot. He alienated himself. But I feel like if you're really fucking good at something, you may have quirks. If you were to change those, you wouldn't be who you are. Like they said, he didn't let a lot of people in. You know what I mean? Yeah. If all of a sudden he would have changed and let people in, he wouldn't have been as good, because that's changing a motherfucker's personality. It's changing who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's always said that backstage, that character of Stone Cold was him. Backstage just dialed up to 10. He's always said that. He basically went from like 6 to 10, So if you start trusting people, if you start changing your life code, that reflects when you go out there, Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's the way it is, though. I mean, as a shoot, if you have a certain type of persona, as I consider it, it's just like with me. Big Stan is 24/7, 365. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what I'm doing, it's still Big Stan. You know,
Right.
everybody in my community, everybody that knows me as Big Stan, regardless. You know, whether I'm wrestling, whether I'm doing yard work, or whether I'm doing my thing with Instagram, with the hobbies and the collectibles and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's still the same deal. So it's just all the same package. You just if you're able to have people invest in you and what you're selling, you can't detour away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
that's not what the people invested in. You know, you have to take that into consideration first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to do anything to confuse the people, because that's just the way it works. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and that's why I'm an open book as far as everything that I'm into, and everything that I like to do as a pastime or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because that way people know what they're buying into. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Or they just know me. You know, and that's the only way that I would like to go about doing anything. I feel like if I'm doing a gimmick, you know what I'm saying? Like, what gimmick could I even do and pull off in comparison to just being me?
Right.
You know, and like I said, that's just my take on it. That's my outlook on it. You know,
Yeah.
I spent years, as a fan, and I just had this talk of last night with my lady and told her, just we was watching the documentary. I was like, it's really crazy that even back in like 2005, I was drawing a picture of me just in an imagination of what I would look like as a wrestler, and
Right.
it's pretty much a dead on match to right now that this is all come to fruition. And I feel like I bet it on the right direction to go in, because it's actually paid off. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
know
that's
what? You know what? Let me get a beer, fellas. I'll be right back. This is live fucking TV, so I need a beer.
do your thug thizzle.
And the thing is, man, you think back and you look at all of the wrestlers that you were invested in, whether you loved them or whether you hated them, and just think about the ones that you had that benchmark for. Like, you might have been like a Wild Man Mark Marrow fan, right? But he was always like mid card, so in your mind he was always here, but you would never fall in love with him the same way that you would say like a Ric Flair or something, right?
Right.
So when Ric Flair comes out there and he's trash talking everybody, you're invested in hating that guy,
Right.
because he's not representing you at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. I know we get away from a little of the biography, but I think it's important that people know who we are, what we're doing here. That's part of why I did the intro. Like, if you see the intro, there are certain cues on why I'm doing it. Like, if you notice between cutscenes, I got the glass breaking. Okay, I got the glass breaking because we ain't fucking around. The glass breaking ain't fucking around. You come in, and I'm gonna tell you something straight up right now. The reason why freaking Triple H's his music's in there, for me and my generation, when I was watching, that motherfucker was the ultimate bad guy. I hated him. Now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, you did your fucking job well. You nailed it, dude. You were the guy. You're the cerebral assassin. You got the sledgehammer. And I remember him and Austin, they went round and round lots. But they didn't really touch on that documentary, but they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't touch on a lot of like his, when he joined up with Vince after WrestleMania 17.
Right.
They didn't touch on any of that. They were just like, it was like bullet points. It was You know, here's his Houston wrestling days, and you know all that stuff, and then WCW, and then ECW, and then WWF, and then walkout, and then career's over. You know.
Yeah, like it's a corporate thing. They got 2 hours, and it's not even 2 hours because we got commercials.
Right.
But yeah, like Ko says, I do agree. He was an amazing villain, and I got all the respect for him now. But when I'm younger, I don't know what I know. I have to grow up and learn the things I learned. And he made me feel a certain way. Without those parts, it ain't the fucking same, dude. You can't go on every day going, yeah, my guy won. There were times when you were fucking pissed. I would spend money on pay-per-views, and I remember they start at 8, and they're supposed to be done at 11. They would go a little after 11. I remember several times being like, fuck, but they had got my emotion. Mm-hmm. They had pulled that from me. Yeah, my guy would win sometimes, but sometimes he wouldn't. You know what I mean? And if that bad guy made me feel a certain way, it hooked me again, even though, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that's the thing with Triple H is like, that's why he made such a good bad guy. It's because in the beginning is that, is that blue blood, that rich, just snobby douchebag. Everyone hated him. And then when he joins DX and he's making you laugh, you're probably thinking, all right, this guy ain't that bad. He's funny. And I'm telling my teachers to suck it, So me and him are the same. We're the same group, And then when he stabs you in the back, you want to hate him. And you want to hate him, and you keep hating him, and you keep hating him. And then, but part of you remembers the good times. It's kind of like, it's like a girlfriend talking to her friends, right? Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's a nice guy. You don't see what I see, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like the mentality of Triple H. It's like you remember the good times, but you don't see. That's what you're telling your friends, but you don't see what I see. When we're at home, he makes me dinner. He's such a nice guy. He's nice to me, And it sets it up every time. It sets it up every time for you to either love him or hate him, and that's what makes him so good.
I did like that they went into a little bit of his ECW because I think the mainstream public don't know that he was in there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? ECW was where it was at, man. It's a shame. I know the whole story about how Paul Heyman, what's up, Inu Tabi? I see you down there. I remember the whole story about how they just ran out of funding. Okay. They couldn't get anybody to go. I've watched Paul Heyman talk about how the whole thing went down. They just fucking got angled out of the business, man.
Never believe anything Paul Heyman tells you.
But the thing is, I never liked Paul Heyman when I was, into the stories, into this. But another guy who could work the angles, who could be in the business. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I give Paul Heyman more credit than I will Bischoff. I still, this day, Bischoff, you ain't watching my shit, but guess what? I don't really roll with you, man. I'm not a big Bischoff fan. Never have been, never will be. And for all the people who may be, that's good. That's just my personal opinion. Go ahead, Big Stan.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be as you were saying, you gotta be a hardcore Stone Cold fan in order to know the ECW part of his run. You know what I'm saying? Because it really didn't last very long, but it's important. If that makes sense. You know, that was a part as they did highlight that was actually a part of the transformation. That was pretty much the beginning of the transformation right there at ECW. It took WWE a little time to jump on that train with him. You know what I'm saying? But he already had touched on Stone Cold before he made the WWE or WWF at the time.
Right.
Yeah. You see, you bring a point to me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. You open my mind. If Bischoff wouldn't have done that, he wouldn't have fired him, done what he done. He wouldn't have called ECW. Like they talked about in the documentary, cut that fucking promo. They said once he cut that promo, all the guys were like, then they giving them grandstand there. You know, they're clapping for giving them high fives and shit because, you know, somebody was speaking it like the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You know? And Heyman, at least, even though, you know, think about what he gave him a fucking platform, you know, and he wasn't there very long because I think, in my opinion, of that deal, he was on his. I think maybe he was on his way to just running the gauntlet at ECW. They were going to let They were going to let the Stone Cold attitude, the guy that resided in him, they were going to let that out.
Yeah.
WWE saw it. They snatched him up. But that's the thing that's confusion. Why didn't they market that right away? They saw it. That's why they wanted him. You know what I mean?
But you got to think about this particular point in the process. They could have had the persona there, but the name still hadn't been able to blossom like it did. You see what I'm saying? I think that the fact that he was stone cold Steve Austin, you know, like the way everything fell into place, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have been cool for the persona to happen when it did in ECW, but just for everything to be full blown, it still had to happen in WWF.
Yeah, and you think about it this way too, right?
Stuff out. Say it again, Wildcard.
No, I'm saying you got to think about it like this too, right? Is that the fans that watched him from Stunning Steve, the Hollywood Blondes, the whole 9 yards, the ECW, the fans that have been that were with him for that long haul. When he goes up there at King of the Ring and he cuts that promo and he becomes Steve Austin, and you start to see everything start to transform into essentially what, you know, the ECW era, right, is starting to come like blossom in WWF after Ringmaster and all that stuff, right? You got to think of it like this too, is that was him basically saying, okay, I did this corporate crap again. I gave it a second chance, and now you guys are screwing with me again. So now I'm definitely letting loose. I'm definitely going to be myself, and you can't say anything to stop me at all. So the fans that supported him in ECW might have been disappointed in WWF as the ringmaster, but when he started doing the Stone Cold thing, you could start to see people that followed him from ECW was like, all right, here we go. This is why I'm watching it. Here we go.
Right.
Oh, that's the point I want to touch about on the show. I've watching wrestling over the years, but having a distinct detachment from it. I'm hoping what I can get from hanging with my man Big Stan over here and doing some stuff. I mean, this Big Stan ain't the fucking champ of Texarkana. Was it the newly crowned Texarkana wrestling champion for the Southwest Pro Wrestling? That shit
first in history, baby. First in history. First ever.
Where's a fucking mic? Where's a fucking mic so I can drop that motherfucker? Hey, bro. Let's check this out though. I think the corporations, if it's not for you, the wrestler, and where you can go up here, I don't think you'll make it. Because let's talk about what Creative did for Steve Austin. They gave him a list of names: Fang McFrost, Snowman, Otto Von Ruthless, Mr. Freeze, Ice Dagger, Cool Cat, and Chili McFreeze. Like, you got to take your own destiny in your own hands, because fucking corporate, they're going to give you whatever maybe a computer might spit out or some just fucking shit. But man, you got to connect with whatever you feel. And like, I know this is not the same. This is not the same. Like, it took me a long time to come up with a name for my channel, okay, for my show. But one day, it just happened. And you can't force it. I put it into my head. I'm like, I need a name for my show. And I never forced it. I just put it in the brain, and I knew it needed to come out at some point in time. And it just happened. You know what I'm saying? And for me, and the way I like it, I love what I came up with. You know, I put my heart and soul in everything I do. I may not have a fucking big ass following, but the following I do have and the friends I do have, that's all I fucking need. And, you know, he took his own destiny in his own hands and fucking wrote it. He rode him to the end. You know what I mean?
But let that be an example. I mean, because if you think about it, Steve Austin or Stunning Steve Austin was only so big for so long. Me, I will admittingly tell you that when he went to the WWF, it was kind of like, you know, I didn't see it, you know, like being nothing other than, oh, wow, you know, Steve Austin crossed over to the WWF. He's, you know, he's gone over to that territory now or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was never a deal as to where I seen it really going into something bigger. But he did. He had all the elements, you know, and he had just so happened to have the right people that was you know, professional wrestling savvy enough and smart enough in the business to see things that could take it to the next level. It did actually catch fire in the way that it needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So well, I'm saying that to say this: Big Stan for the first, I say 3-4 years of me wrestling, it didn't catch on, but for so many people. You know what I'm saying? It was just a core following, so to speak. It was good to have that, but then I stuck with it long enough for it to catch fire in a wider range or whatever. You know what I mean? So to me, it's all about sticking with what you believe in. You know, continue to believe in yourself, continue to mash and push for what it is that you're selling, and it'll eventually catch fire if you stay true to it, and everybody else around you that's you know, Team Pack and Team 3 Live Stream, as long as you have all of those elements right there, eventually you're gonna outgrow it. You're gonna outgrow the 3 Live Stream. It's gonna get bigger than you could even imagine, and you'll even need people to help you at some point in order to maintain that shit. You know, it's all the same thing. You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing. And Stone Cold is just an example of it. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things that I took from the documentary, you know, that I've never really, I was able to kind of wild guess, you know, a lot of things, and just from what I knew already, but it really put it in perspective for me that if you continue to, you know, do the work and stay dedicated to your brand and to your hustle, it'll eventually take off. You just got to stay. You just got to stay with it until it does.
Like exactly, like with the wild card down here. The wild card got skills. Okay, we're gonna get back to the show. But we're gonna talk about some stuff that relates to us here and there. All right, his stuff is taking off because people are starting to notice the stuff he does on his channel is, you know, can't be fucked with. All right, he puts out quality shit. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna come here.
Just check the man's swag out. Check out his drip. Check him out.
Drip.
That lets you know right there, baby.
Hey, check out the Drizzip, boy.
Exactly. You know, I know about Pack Daddy.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I know about the wild card. I know about M3 Review. I know about Sardo Nostra. I know about Big Bo. I know about all of you. But what we want is for the ones that don't know to get to know. Because we love to freak out, and tell everybody that we become in contact with what it's really all about. And that's all I got to say about that for right now.
That's right, Big Stan. That's right, Big Stan. So if you don't know, consider yourself told, baby.
Right on.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love fucking talking to this group of people we have.
Ow.
That's why when I was choosing people, man, I had to get on with Big Stan. People that don't know, I got, let's see, I was introduced to Big Stan through Marcos at M3 Reviews. From that moment on, we've been riding. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
There are
Right
certain
on.
people. You, Marcos, there's a bunch of us, Cato, all the guys, we roll together. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't just exclusive to us. Come on in with us. Come fuck with us.
Tabi, I want to give Enu Tabi a shout out real quick. He was the last one that I seen pop up in my chat feed. I wanted to be sure and get that taken care of.
And,
Sorry, brother.
Yeah, no, you're good. Sardo, man, I miss my guy. Sardo, you listen to this, man. We're coming for you, baby. Sardo loves wrestling too, so.
Right on.
You know what? We may have a circle, but we open to other people. Come on in. Come and fucking join us, man.
No doubt.
100%.
Okay, there was this part of the show I wanted to touch on. Think about this. I've never been one to say, well, if that didn't happen, if it happened, that means it was fucking meant to be.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that again. If I'm not one to say, well, if that didn't happen, if it fucking happened, then it was meant to be. When the curtain call happened, what the fuck happened next? What happened next? That's what opened his door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, another thing, like Triple H was the bad guy, but that motherfucker, he kept working, even though he was in the doghouse. All his buddies left, and he was in the doghouse. Shawn was the champ. Correct me if I'm right. Shawn was
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't punish the champion.
Right. So what did Triple H do? What do people do nowadays? You know what? Old school. You dig in. You fucking go. You may be in fucking trouble, but fucking go. I'm gonna work myself out of this fucking hole, dude.
Exactly.
More respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll get around to doing something about Triple H. You know, don't mean to stray too far. You know, the topic, the main topic, quite naturally, but
right.
That's one of my guys too that I revert back to as far as having a lot of respect. You know, just a ton of respect. His if nothing else, his work ethic, his dedication to the business, all of that. You know, it's just people like Stone Cold, Triple H, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Booker T, man, just guys like that came at a time where they actually had a generation or two before them that was paving the way in a sense that the business could really do nothing but get better through them.
Yep.
You know. And so again, you know, I just want to take this time to say, yeah, Triple H is one of them guys, man. I really hate that they didn't highlight Stone Cold and Triple H's parts in, you know, that was played in Stone Cold's run.
I don't know if they didn't touch on it because, okay, we know we got 8 weeks of the show. All right.
Right.
8 weeks. You're going to see the wild card and you're going to see the newly crowned champ right here. And every week it's going to be in your face. And every week it's going to be something fucking different. All right. Maybe the fact is the dude knows I don't need to put out my shine. Let me give the shine to these guys. Do you get what I'm saying? This guy, correct me if I'm wrong. Last I knew, 16-time world heavyweight champion. How many times has he won it? I know Ric Flair won 16 times. I think.
How many?
Yeah.
You speaking on Austin, or how many times did Ric Flair win it?
No.
Aside from the recognized 16 times, or are you speaking on how many times Austin won?
Well, basically what I mean is Triple H won that belt. That belt that we know that belt was different. That belt was not the WWF/WWE belt. It was the World Heavyweight Championship belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the belt they had in WCW.
It's the big gold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. When you saw that thing across your chest, boy, it was all gold. All,
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
Dude, I can't see. I can't see from that glare, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I give big respects to him because he's also not one of the 8 they're doing. Like, he's like, I don't need to force myself into there. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm humble. Like, when he had good remarks about Stone Cold, I'm like, dude, I got bad respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, like Stone Cold said, there's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of jealousy. You know what I mean? That was supposed to be Triple H's shot. Now Triple H is like, you know, congratulations to him. You know.
And again, to his credit, to hop on that about Triple H's the way he went about everything, not becoming envious or jealous to the point, you know, to where now he's gonna try to go super cutthroat. You know, he went about it, you know, even though I've heard stories from back in the day, which I think that was just you know, with him and Sean together, DX or whatever, you know. But overall, I think Triple H did the work, and he just, of course, he stayed the course, and he rode the wave until his time came, you know. But again, I think that with him crossing paths with Stone Cold, that helped to transcend his character and help to evolve his character into the game, you know, into the cerebral assassin, everything that stuck out and stood out about Triple H over everything else that he had done prior to being the game, to becoming the game and one of the best of all times. His run in with Stone Cold, that played a big part in that happening, because you got to think about it. He went into wearing all black. He started resembling, you know, him and The Rock were all wearing the same colors, basically. You know, they were all done in black. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, you know, you want to develop these values about yourself that's gonna get you recognized in a good way. You know,
I'm gonna be right back, and we're gonna talk about what my DJ ACDC is talking about. Like I said, we touch base on a lot of stuff with the show. We'll bounce in here and there. But I want to talk about these belts. And I want to talk about the part of the show with him and The Rock, because I think that's important. So I'll be right back.
All right. I'll say this about the show. The show is a really good starting point, but it's a really good starting point to watch this after the show. And this is that Steve Austin documentary that WWF put out, or WWE put out. What was it? I think it was 2015, 2011, right? So it's a really good starting point, but this is 4-disc, and this dives really, really deeper into a lot of the stuff that they were talking about. And on top of that, it's 4-disc. So you got 3 different discs, right? 2, 3, and 4, interviews, matches. So everything that they talk about in disc 1, you can go back and actually watch on 2, 3, and 4.
Right on.
So that's a good companion piece to this.
Now, Wild Card, I got a question for you real quick.
What you got for me, baby?
I know you're a Transformers guy when it comes down to collecting.
Yep.
But do you just so happen to do any wrestling figure collecting by any chance?
I do. I got a bunch of the WWE Elite figures. The
Okay.
mature ones.
Okay.
And I've honestly, man, I've been buying those since Jack Specific had them. Way back, like 95, you know?
Right.
I mean, I haven't stopped. It's just anytime there's somebody like there's a wrestler that I absolutely love, it don't matter who it is. I got like 14 Ric Flairs. I don't know why,
Right.
you know, but
you could never have enough of them. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. And you know, they always have their different costumes, their different outfits. Ric Flair with a robe, without a robe, and you always got to have Ric Flair in the losing blue. You always got to have it, you know.
Right. Oh man, I wish I going into this, I would have found my Ric Flair in the blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? I wish I knew about that when I was younger, about Ric Flair's losing blue. I'd have made a bunch of money off of Ric Flair.
Could have bet. Yeah, you could have placed a bet on it.
Yep.
Right on.
Just to kind of play it off, like I'll place my bet when he comes out. You got to watch what how he's walking. If he's walking with the limp, he's gonna win. Just play it off, whatever. You see him in that blue. Put your money on,
Exactly.
Robert, Sting, whoever, right?
Right.
Done.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I've been collecting wrestling figures since I knew what they were. So I've been in the wrestling since I knew what wrestling was. So yeah, I go as far back as the old LJN. Just no articulation, just straight. Solid rubber. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I know exactly.
Remco AWA figures.
Yep.
All of that.
Yeah.
And those terrible WCW figures.
Oh God.
They're like that big and they just and they vibrate.
Exactly.
It's so bad, man.
Austin 316 says, I just whooped your fucking ass.
What?
Woo!
What?
Boy.
What?
What? Dude.
Real quick, I wanted to touch on this. I wanted to touch on this on that show. They opened that show with Missy Hyatt. And when they opened that show, my heart skipped a beat. I was like, oh, there's my girl. There she is.
Hey, let's not. Wildcard calls it like it is, man. Back in them days, them girls were hella cute, man. I was like, yes. But hey, for my man right here, for my man. Hey, Stone Cold, I know you never watched this, but if you did, man, you're my dog.
Never say no. Never say never.
Never say never.
I know we're talking about other people and we're talking about him, but that's just because we respect the business. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. Just let everybody know, we got 26 minutes before we bounce the fuck out of here. So let's get it on. There's another topic. Now, I feel like there's one more point that should be touched about. If you remember we talked about the time where he bounced because of the Brock Lesnar deal. But leading up to that, him and The Rock, a lot of people bash on The Rock. The Rock could fucking cut promos.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the way he moved in the fucking ring. Like sometimes he would come slide off the rope and give you the people's elbow. It was like he was in slow motion. And and they give you the fucking jam, dude.
Yeah.
He had charisma. Those two were fucking amazing together.
Yeah.
Up until the time where he left because of the whole Brock Lesnar, it was more he was burnt out. That's the way I felt. Him and The Rock, man, it was like two smart asses. The biggest smart asses, the biggest guys that could cut the best promos. And they were just, everybody loved The Rock, but you didn't know. I was like, I'm going with my man Austin, but it's like, I never veered from him. But man, those guys.
That was one of those eras where you actually had two top guys that were on top synonymously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, even like right now, when you bring up Stone Cold, there's a good chance you're going to say Stone Cold and The Rock or The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And that very seldom happens in wrestling. So when you get that type of duet, so to speak, where there's actually two men whose names are synonymous with one another, because you could. I was trying to think about it as that part was playing, whatever on the show, and I was like, the only two other guys that I can think about right off the rip was Flair and Dusty Rhodes. When you talk about, or the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You think about it, you barely ever get that where one big name goes right up, it goes hand in hand with another.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had the same thing because I thought about the same thing, and I came up with Flair and Sting, Hart and Michaels.
Right, yeah.
And then that was pretty much it, and then I was like kind of maybe Hogan and Andre, maybe,
Yeah, I said the same thing, yeah. But just for it to have the impact that The Rock and Stone Cold had, it was an impact they made together. It's still all its own thing, No two men actually held it down for one company the way that they did. Not at the magnitude, not at the level that they were able to do it.
Right. Real quick, you guys keep going. But what's up, Darkenin and Delmas Dugan? Y'all just showed up in the chat a little bit ago. Oh, let me put this question out to the chat. We know. What was Stacy Keibler's name in WCW? Who's got it in the chat? Hook me up. I know what it is. We all know what it is.
Let's talk about this real quick. Going back to when Stone Cold was fired.
What up, Bruce Banner?
Okay, so let's go ahead and slide this in there. So when Stone Cold gets fired, he goes to the WWF.
Darkening nailed it.
Biggest thing in wrestling. Next thing you know, WCW emerges with Goldberg. Me personally, I think that was some hellified booking from WCW, and it was bold as hell for them to do it.
Yeah.
But for them to be able to pull it off, to bring out another superstar, develop off the Stone Cold Steve Austin mold, and for him to actually be pretty much as big of a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a crazy time in wrestling, And again, that's just another subject that I felt like could have been mentioned. It just goes to show how strong of a character and a persona Stone Cold Steve Austin was, and how big of an impact and how big of a let me see, inspiration.
It's just, he's an enigma. And like I said, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who make the argument when you talk about if you're good enough to be in the argument for the best ever. Okay. Yeah. The best ever doesn't just mean technical ability.
Yeah.
It means technical ability. It means work ethic. It means skills on the mic. It means putting your time in the business. It's so many stuff. Yes, there are technical wrestlers that were better, okay? But who the fuck was better at just fucking transcending? I mean...
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, dude, okay.
You got to think about it. This was at a time when wrestling was... You know what I'm saying?
WWE.
Only people that was watching wrestling was wrestling fans, and the wrestling fans was barely watching wrestling.
Right. It was in a transition, and it wasn't doing too well. I mean, dude, he just got busted open. Like I told you, Big Stan.
Mm-hmm.
if I'm wrestling, I want to be busted open. I want to be bleeding. Like when I was working on cars, I wouldn't stop because I would cut myself and the blood was running down my arm. Fuck it. People would be like,
Yeah,
hey man, that's hardcore. You're over there working on cars with blood all over you. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm
And
saying?
just so happened, I was able to experience that for the first time this past Saturday night. And there was no better place than my hometown in order for all of this to take place. You know, and I feel like, me personally, when you're able to don the crimson mask, you know, that's taking it to another level for the fans. You know, that's the way I've seen it.
Yeah, and you sent me pictures afterwards, and I wanted to be there, man, and I let you down. I will be there, man. It's like 5 hours for me to get there. You said maybe June is the next match. Maybe
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Right. June 5th.
I gotta be in there, dude. When I'm there, I gotta take me a body slam. I gotta take me just some kind of fucking beef. Like if anybody knows wrestling, they know Ready to Rumble. Do you remember freaking David Arquette when he's like, me next, me next?
Man.
I gotta take some shit for Big Stan, boy. I gotta hit with the power or the fucking, you know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate glory for me is to get there and take the shot, boy. If not, if I can't take the shot, I'll be there. Hey, I need one of them shirts, bro. Shirts.
Oh, it's coming, brother. It's coming your way. It's coming your way.
Hey,
yeah, you got it coming. You more. I just talked to the T-shirt man earlier. Shout out to my man at Apple Dog Tees, my man Mike. He's gonna be featured on the Man Cave channel coming up soon. Also, Big Stan's Man Cave. He's got some badass rides and a badass. He's got 2 garages or whatever, and I want you guys to check.
Well, you're gonna learn that about. Hold on a second. Big Stan froze.
Big Stan froze up.
Come on, Big Stan. But you're gonna find out. Me and the wild card.
We got cut off. I might have missed something. What were you saying?
That you're gonna find out. The rides. I've been working on cars my whole life. The wild card. He loves cars. He works on cars too. So yes, bring these guys that you're talking about. Bring them to our attention, man. Let's see these fucking jams. Let's see these whips. You know what I'm saying? Because
the man cave is about to venture out, and I'm gonna start hooking up with a lot of my local affiliates and friends and everybody that I'm really cool with. Has got some nice, rides, custom rides, anything they're collecting, anything that they're into. I've been reaching out to them, and a lot of that'll be featured this summer on Big Stan's Man Cave. And like I said, I just want to do things that's going to kind of take the channel to another level.
I got some respect for Danny Dolphin because yes, everybody wants to see me smash through a fucking table, boy. That's what they want to see. Hey, knock your son bitch down, boy. Cut a promo on me, man. Tell me, you know what I'm saying?
You all for it. You all for it. That's what's happening.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, when you got life and you got energy, man, it just can't be held back, bro. I'm telling you.
That's right.
I tell my wife all the time, Big Stan calls, I'm like, it just puts a smile on my face, man, because you got that fucking life. That's the reason why you can't be the wrestler is because you got that fucking energy. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, brother. I mean, if people only knew the responsibility that I have, and I'm a local indie performer. You know what I'm saying? But I have a responsibility to so many people because I try to respond to everybody that hits me up through a message, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a nonstop job for me, as a professional wrestler, but I enjoy every bit of it. For the most part, I hate to have to take too long to respond or reply, but I have a life, I still work, you know, well, I ain't gonna say a 9 to 5, a 12-hour gig, as everybody knows or should know. When I'm there, sometimes, you know, I have to do what I can from the job. You know, even if it's designing my T-shirts or communicating with whoever, you know what I'm saying? But it's nonstop. It's a full-time responsibility, and I'm just glad that, you know, for the most part, people get what they're after when you know they you know, support me. I never get any complaints, and that's the thing that keeps me going. You know, people waited a whole year for me to step back into the square circle, and when April 10th of this year happened, the people showed up and they let it be known that they are 100% Big Stan. You know, and there was
Yes.
nothing more gratifying. There was no bigger payoff than to be able to embrace the people face to face, like
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do for over a year due to the pandemic. You know, that was the thing for me. You know, that really, you know, that I was wanting to do. That was the payoff, was to be able to
Yes, I
get
want
organic with the
everybody.
people again.
If you're not subscribed to Big Stan, I got the link in the chat. All right. Y'all know me. Y'all know Wildcard. If you ain't fucking hooked up with Big Stan, the link's right there. All right. Hit it. Take care of him. And we got 12 minutes. All right. So next week is
Let
going to
me
be
let me go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to be sure let everybody know that my second channel that's going to be dedicated to wrestling. I know I've been advertising this for a while now, but we're going to have the first bit of footage featured, should be towards the end of the week. But I'll keep you posted on Instagram on Big
Yeah.
Stan's Man Cave and Big Stan Harris Instagram. Yeah, be sure and just stay tuned for that.
These last 10 minutes, man. Before we go on, I really have a connection with Stone Cold. I did when I saw him back in '97. It resonated with him. I want to make sure that I properly give him the respect he needs, because that's what the show's about. All respect to Wildcard, all respect to Big Stan, but I want him to know, dude, all your sacrifices, man. You have people at home like me. Dude, I would be at work wrenching on cars 12 hours a fucking day, and me and the service supervisor would be like, fucking Raw's tonight.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah. And we had to I fucking drive. Dude, I can drive. I used to race cars too on the short track local deal. I would race the fuck home, dude. I'm slaloming, dude. I'm getting home to watch Raw. He did that for me. He gave me that excitement, you know, that droll of a day you had where you was busting your balls all day, and then it's like, I gotta go watch my guy. I gotta watch my fucking guy, man. I'm waiting for him to unfreeze. Go ahead, Big Stan.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, yeah, we live vicariously through Stone Cold. So many of us, you know, he represented the struggle, but he represented it, you know, 100%. He represented it in actuality. He was the struggle. He was living the struggle, you know, and living the dream, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I just feel you 100%. I mean, you know, still to this day, I'm hoping that somehow, some way, I'll be able to be able to talk to him in person.
I'm gonna tell you what, like, I've had people on my show and I kind of get a certain way. There's two things. I would love to meet the guy, shake his hand, a man. Okay. Yes, you may, like on the documentary, you may have said I was selfish. Okay. But when you're locked onto the vision, man, I'm there, dude. I got OCD. I'm like, we all got, and when we get locked in, I mean, I understand what you went through. I would love to shake the man's hand. And the second thing, I would fucking love to have a replica of the Smoking Skull belt. That is one. It doesn't matter. GI Joes, Transformers. That is one of my grails. To have that in a case, motherfucking right there. I'll put right fucking above my TV, dude. Right there, because you know that's what he meant. He was to the working, to the working man. He was that guy. You know. Go ahead, wild card. I've been running my mouth. You go ahead and run your mouth for a little bit.
I can do that. I can do that in spades.
Yes, you can.
So, no, I remember real story, man. There was a Soul Calibur 2 tournament, or Soul Calibur 1 tournament. 2 it was like a week before 2 came out, and it was on a Monday. And I went up to the game store, and I was playing in this tournament, and I came in 3rd place, and 3rd place got a T-shirt. And so I grabbed the T-shirt, and I was just standing around watching the final matches and stuff. And then something clicked in my brain. I said, holy crap, dude, it's Monday. I got to go, And there was just whatever it was, man. I forgot it was Monday, and I forgot Raw was coming on at 8. And I didn't have a car then, but I ran from the game store all the way back to my apartment just to catch Raw. And I remember I was like 5 minutes late. It was like 8:05 when I walked in through the door, and I was just hearing Jim Ross, welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw, blah, 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 blah. And then the glass broke. And my heart skipped a beat because I was like, oh, I didn't miss him. Yes. Yeah. I didn't miss the opening of it. Yes.
Right.
And so, dude. Yeah, man, that's the Austin story that I've got that really, sticks out in my mind. Just how big of a fan, how much that, the attitude, the drive, the will to win, all of it, that's what that meant to me. I mean, I would take that to school with me. I would take that through life with me, don't start none, ain't gonna be none,
Yeah.
So, but there is, I'll finish it. I promise you.
Big Stan, he got to hit him with the guns, baby.
Oh man. You know what? Hey, I'm just now starting to load them back up, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Slowly but surely, baby. Hey. Slowly but surely. But yeah, just going back to what I said earlier, Stone Cold had such a big influence on so many, and he will probably never even realize how many people influenced, but starting within the business.
Right.
Throughout the world, that anybody that knows him, I'm sure that he has rubbed off on them some way or another. Me being for one, I didn't really care to drink beer until Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm gonna get me another one because we got Big Stan said he got 6 minutes. I need another fucking beer. Hey, as Marco says,
you gotta do it. Yes. But man, I've taken so many elements from him, it just helped me to want to do more as far as just be a man's man.
Right.
I mean, I've taken that example that he has led by into my entire life, and it's been that way ever since. I have no lie to tell. He was possibly one of the biggest influences from pro wrestling just throughout my entire lifestyle. He was an example to live by as far as being a man's man, period.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, everything I do, I can just about credit it back to, him and, all the men in my life, from my grandfathers to my dad, uncles, and then there's like Stone Cold and, maybe a few, but Stone Cold from wrestling, he was probably the biggest pro wrestling influence when it came down to day-to-day life for me.
Yeah. I can definitely get that. I can definitely understand that.
Not taking no crap off of any asshole, that's trying to give you crap or whatever, any of that. You know, it's just so many things that you could get from. I mean, him and another thing that I feel like wasn't highlighted enough was him and Vince McMahon's you know, their feud during his run. They didn't put enough emphasis on that.
Yeah, they glossed over the whole Vince McMahon thing a lot.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate. Really
Right.
unfortunate. Because
him
and, at 17, WrestleMania 17, they joined forces.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, they should have touched on that at the very least just a little bit, and then moved forward with the retirement and all that other stuff. And then
Mac DJ, ACDC, I see you, baby. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Wild card.
You good,
Get
man?
on down, bro.
You telling the people? Tell the people again.
Oh yeah, hey. If it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be no me. And I'm just keeping it live, direct, and in full effect. The only way that I know how to do it. From me to you, I appreciate you more than you'll ever realize. But just know, it's from the bottom of my heart. The championships, everything that is Big Stan Harris wouldn't be near as whatever you want, whatever you measure it as, it wouldn't be nothing without everybody that supports it. So again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
Yes, you are my champ. You are the one that makes me want to get back into wrestling. You are holding that torch. We can do this show next week, everybody. Next Sunday, watch on A&E. It's going to be Rowdy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rowdy Piper. Yes, sir. Do you see that reaction over there? That's what I'm talking about. Rowdy Piper. But for my man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Woo! With that being said, Big Stan. Hold on a second. That's right. Wild card. We gonna get out of this motherfucker. You go first, baby.
Well, I had something planned to say, but there ain't nothing that I can't say that the man himself, Big Stan, can't say better.
All I'm going to say is this right here. If you're not tuned in to the 3 Live stream, if you're not tuned in to my man Pac Daddy, if you're not tuned in to Empty Reviews, Pop the Trump, Enu Tabi, I'm just going on right now. I'm just rambling. Because I'd rather be rambling instead of gambling right now. Because I was born a rambling man, but I was not ever too good at being a gambling man. So here's what I'm saying. Bet on the wild card. And I guarantee you that you'll come out on top. But if you don't, I can guarantee you this. You will be just like any of the other opponents that have stepped into the ring with the professional wrestling machine. You will go down straight into oblivion. And you will never be known anywhere ever again. So do the right thing and get linked up with the real deal. Because if you wanna go somewhere, you gotta go with this. And I'm gonna leave it right there with you.
And with that being said, guess what? It's time to make like a baby and head out. You all gonna see us the same time. Hopefully, Big Stan, let me know. All right. Hopefully next Monday, we'll be right here. And we'll be talking about Rowdy Piper on this motherfucker through live stream. Because it doesn't matter whether it's Transformers, it's cars, it's wrestling, it's toy hunts. I'm going to fucking do it. I don't need no stereotypical fucking YouTube fucking genre that says you can only do one thing. I do whatever the fuck I want on this shit right here. And that's how it's going to fucking continue to be. And I'm going to fucking ride with everyone who wants to fucking ride with me. And you know what? We going to get the fuck out of here.